Good morning. My name is E.Kusmier, and this is my final project. It is increasing daily step counts in young adults with autism spectrum disorder. I used a changing criterion design, evaluating goal setting, self-monitoring, and a token economy system. Now, for my client, their name in this is Avocado. That being said, they have ASD and a history of weight-related hospitalizations. For the baseline, it was under 3,000 steps a day. And basically, the big question that I wanted to ask was, can goal setting, self-monitoring, and token economy help increase daily steps, and will gains maintain as the tokens thin? The literature supports each component. It is down here, where I have all of them listed. But then it was McCullen's article that actually addressed maintenance under thinning. And it was quite interesting because I thought that it would really work for this client. Unfortunately, I didn't get to that point. But um, as for the method, like I said, I used a changing criterion design. The dependent variable was the total daily steps via a wearable tracker during all waking hours, recorded once a day. So either I recorded in the morning for the previous day, or I recorded basically the night of, if the client was like just about to go to bed right after. But most of the time, it was the day or the morning that I would take the data for the previous day. As for the intervention, it was daily goals stated. I let him know the goal every single morning, basically as he was like getting up, or his mom would let him know depending on when session started. Um, but then you had self-monitoring. It was we would let him know throughout the day. I would remind him twice a day. His parents would remind him twice a day, so on and so forth. So he was getting reminders all throughout. You had the token economy system that was set up with a preference assessment. You had minor reinforcement or I'm sorry, minor reinforcers and a main reinforcer. In order to get the main reinforcer, he had to hit all 5 days. That being said, it was increased criterion by 15% after criterion one. From baseline to criterion one, though, I only increased to 2.5%. Um, but the results showed that basically it worked. I would love to have more of a baseline data because I think only having the 5 days of baseline data really kind of skewed it and made it look more funky. Because if you look at Criterion 1, the first week he did not make it, even though it was a 2.5 increase. But I think that was probably because he'd realized that if I don't earn all of these days, then I won't be able to get like the major reinforcer. So the second week he came in and he crushed it. He hit all 5 days for his criterion, like no problem. But I think I probably would have had a better idea if the baseline was better. Um, but on Criterion 2, he missed the 5 days by one. Unfortunately, that week he did not get the main reinforcer. So Criterion 3, he came in strong and hit all 5 days again. Now, as for implications, um, he missed the first 3 days, like I said, and it was only a 2.5 increase, like again I said. Um, but basically, it's showing me that the behavior wasn't the barrier. Like he does walking all the time, even though like right now it's 3,000, right? But in the grand scheme of things, this is summer. It's hot. It's like 100 degrees some days. I get if you don't want to exercise, but for his long-term health, increasing his exercise is important. So during the school year, that could be completely different. The a big issue was the contingency. So as I didn't abandon it or lower the goal the first week when he didn't make it, because I knew realistically once the program kicks in, it's going to start firing. And it did. We had a few bad first days where he didn't make it, and that's totally okay. But then he came in strong like every single week after that. Um, I think in the future, this package, hmm, like caregiver implementation, it doesn't really need any special equipment. You don't need to be specialized to use like a heart rate tracker or a step tracker or anything like that. I think it's pretty good for good training parents like how to use it. Now it's going to be a question of is it going to be as effective for other clients, right? Um, I had a really big reinforcer at the top that was like his huge MO, and it made it really easy. That's not the case for all clients. Um, Now, self-monitoring might be enough for some clients, and that may alone be able to account for the effect. In one of the research programs or articles that I was reading about, self-monitoring was the main factor. Now that article was on uh, older non-ASD adults, but the fact of the matter is it still showed that self-monitoring as a whole increased their exercise exponentially. But for practitioners, a changing criterion structure gives kind of a defensible framework for any shaped health behavior, water intake, exercise, duration, sleep timing, which all of those things are really important and help us like our body function. Um, as for limitations, I think there's quite a few with my study. One, like I mentioned earlier, the baseline wasn't big enough. It overlapped like the third day basically ties with like most of the baseline. It only beats one day. So I think that's probably a big part of the issue. Taking IOA was really easy for this project, but I wished I found or thought of a different way to take IOA because matching data on like what we're seeing on the app, because we all used an app to track the steps, um, it's not really taking IOA, and there's other things that I feel like now looking back at it would have been good to take IOA on. Um, the package was tied together, so I couldn't isolate if any of the procedures had a bigger effect. Down the line, that's something that I would have been interesting to see, especially when you go into the maintenance section and you start to thin. Then it gets really interesting because right now, personally, I feel like the main driver is the token economy system, kind of for the big increase and hitting it. Um, it would be interesting to see how that changes as time goes on. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that's mainly it. He did great. I'm excited that I think he's still going to continue to use this. I hope this helps him. Um, he started at 300 pounds, gosh, a year ago, and now he's down to 240. So I'm really happy for this client, and I think his health is turning around. But yeah, this is Avocado. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. I'd love to answer them about them. But yeah, have a good one.